You're listening to Language Nerds Do Earth, the podcast about linguistics, culture, travel, and how they're all connected. Now, it's time for your language nerd hosts. One in China, one in Spain. It's Patrice and Rachel.
Hello, language nerds! I'm Patrice.
And I'm Rachel.
And welcome to Language Nerds to Earth!
Woohoo! Guess what episode we're on?
What episode, Rachel?
Number 10.
Number 10, the double digits!
Cool, yeah, I'm super excited for this episode.
Yeah, me too. Oh, I'm really excited. We got some special stuff for you guys this week.
Mm-hmm.
And for ourselves. This week, our topic is Ramadan.
Yeah.
We have some guest interviews from very cool people.
Mm-hmm. Super cool.
So we're going to hear from them and talk a little bit about the holiday.
And then stick around to the end because we've got a lesson translation moment from Caroline in Panama.
Yep. But first, we have some language news.
Yeah. So I think this article is really cool.
Yeah. This one was fascinating because you might have seen, like, names for things. Like, a lot of English speakers have heard the word Schadenfreude, which means pleasure in other people's pain, basically.
Yeah.
There's actually an Avenue Q song about it. It's making me feel glad that I'm not you. Have you heard it?
No. I've never heard that. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, it's really funny. But yeah, so we have a bunch of those that we're going to go through.
Yeah, so basically the article is from BBC, and everyone knows the feeling of, like, nails on a chalkboard, and I'm, like, shivering just thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awful.
It's horrible. So, for example, in Spanish, the word for that, there is a word for that, which is grima. In English, we would just say it sounds like nails on a chalkboard, and then you get the sensation. Right,
yeah. It's very easy to conjure that up in my brain.
Yeah, exactly. Good, so these are basically untranslatable words.
Mm-hmm. And you were saying that grima is used a lot in Spain.
Yeah. You know, sometimes if you're talking about something that, I don't know. I think when I've been talking about some kind of body parts, like tendons or eyes or something, and my students will be like, me da grima.
That's interesting. Huh. That gives me grima.
Yeah.
So, That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny that you teach about tendons in your classes, too.
I don't know. It's not that I'm teaching that. It's just somehow it comes up or something.
Yeah. It's funny. I teach little kids, so I'm just, like, singing about the seasons all day, basically. And you get to talk about tendons. That's awesome.
Yeah. We have some pretty interesting discussions in my classes.
That's awesome. Okay, so yeah, let's jump in. We've got 9 words for emotions that we don't have in English, but we totally need in English. So, yeah, the first one we've got, it's Hygge in Danish, so maybe hygge?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah. So this is the pleasant, intimate feeling associated with sitting around a fire in the winter with close friends.
This might be my favorite, actually.
Yeah.
That's a great feeling.
Yeah, it really is. Roasting some marshmallows. That's an American thing for sure. But drinking some hot cocoa.
Yeah.
Mulled wine. Yeah, that is really nice.
Yeah. Then there's Tartle. I'm going to guess that's something like tartle? Tartle?
Yeah, maybe tartle. Yeah. I have a Scottish friend. I should have asked him.
Okay. Which, yes, is in Scots. Which is that panicky hesitation just before you have to introduce someone whose name you can't quite remember. Has this happened to you?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I'm really bad with names for some reason. Like I'm great at languages, but I also have like a face blindness, and I'm bad at names. So like I'll go to introduce people, and I'll be like, ah, yes, here we are. You are. Do you not have that?
I mean, of course, like, I'm actually not very good with names either, but I basically just try to avoid names until I've known someone for like 6 months at least. I like just won't use their name. Just in case I'm wrong.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, if I do know somebody's name, I'll be like, and this is Pam. Because like, I'm just like, yes, I know her name. Here I am knowing your name. So I don't have tartula. All right. Next, of course, I get the first really ridiculously long one. It's Mami Hlapina Tapai, which is the Yangan language of Tierra del Fuego, and it means that special look shared between two people when both are wishing that the other would do something that they both want but neither want to do.
What would that be for you?
Huh.
Like you and Seth.
Oh, that would be like if we're negotiating and one of us has to be the bad cop.
Okay.
Over a price on something, like, all right, you take it down. Or like you make this person unhappy by not giving them the exorbitant price that they want on whatever. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, but yeah. What about you?
I was thinking something just like super simple, like sitting on the couch and not wanting to get up to get something, and then just like, can you get it? Yeah. So, Mami Hlapina Tapai. Next time that happens, just remember that word. It's super simple. That will be easy for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so next we have... There are too many consonants. Okay. Iksuarapok, which is Inuit. Mm-hmm. The feeling of anticipation when you're waiting for someone to show up at your house and you keep going outside to see if they're there yet.
That's so funny.
I can relate to that.
For sure.
If I'm waiting for someone, like the last 20 minutes, I can't do anything. I just have to like walk around and look out the window or something.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. And then we have a Thai word. It's Grenjai. Probably totally messing that up too. And it's that feeling you get when you don't want someone to do something for you because it would be a pain for them. Oh. That sounds like a very Asian word, doesn't it?
I was going to say, it's definitely a different culture because it's more about putting someone else's desires before your own.
Yeah. But I definitely get that feeling, too. Mm-hmm. Like, I would call it more guilt, but this is more specific than that.
Right. And, you know, that's kind of like the Danish word. It's a cold country, so they have a word for being around a fire, which I guess we would call that, like, cozy, but it's not specific to that situation.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Right. I think so.
Okay. Filipino... Gigil. I don't know if this is like Gigil, Higil. I'm really sorry. I have no idea. Which is the urge to pinch or squeeze something that is irresistibly cute.
Oh, yeah.
I would call that cute aggression.
Oh, I like that. I've never heard that before. It's so cute.
I read an article about that, and it's like an evolutionary thing. Like, you see something so cute, you actually, like, want to eat it. It's something because, like, two parts of the brain are really close or something like that. I don't know.
That's interesting.
No.
Well, I mean, it's definitely an evolutionary advantage to be so irresistibly cute, because then adults are more prone to want to take care of you, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, people get that around my cat all the time. I understand. Okay, So next we have a Japanese word. It's koi no yokan, maybe. It's 3 words, actually. Koi no yokan. And it is the sense upon meeting a person that the two of you are going to fall in love.
That's super romantic.
Yes. I guess we would call it love at first sight, but this is more like thinking long term, isn't it?
Yeah, and it seems like more foreshadowing because you haven't fallen in love yet, but it's the feeling that you're going to, right?
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. So we have another Japanese word, boketo, which is gazing vacantly into the distance without thinking. I can relate to that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I feel like that's when you get in the most trouble for having people thinking that you're staring at them.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I wonder if there's a word for that in some language.
Yeah, there might be.
Yeah. Oh, this last one. We already said it. So, Schadenfreude. So, feeling, it's German, and it's the feeling of pleasure gained by seeing another person's misfortune. Yeah, like in the US, when you are driving along and somebody else gets pulled over and you don't.
Uh-huh.
Like, happy it wasn't me.
Right.
Usually how I am.
Maybe it's like a person that cut you off in traffic or something. You see them pulled over and you're like, haha, yes.
Yeah, totally. Classic.
You deserved it.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So let's scoot on along into our main topic, which is Ramadan.
Yeah. So Rachel and I both interviewed somebody for this episode. Do you want to introduce your guest first?
Sure. So I interviewed my friend Kareemah. We met in Spain here when we were both new to teaching and to Spain, and yeah.
Hi, I'm Kareemah. I am many things. I'm an ESL teacher, content creator, and travel writer.
Awesome, cool. You have a really cool blog.
Thank you. Yeah, it's called Hijabi Globetrotter. It's basically me, a hijabi person that travels. And I just kind of talk about, write and do videos about my experience as a traveler from a Muslim's perspective, because I think that's lacking a lot in the media. And just kind of to bring humanity back to Muslims. And I also discuss about language learning because I love learning languages. I learned Spanish during high school, college, and then I moved to Spain to complete that. And right now I'm challenging myself with Arabic and French, even though I've not been that consistent. And
that's awesome. She's living now in Louisiana.
And she grew up in Louisiana, right?
Yeah, she grew up in the United States, and after college, kind of like me, went to Spain to teach English.
Yeah, so I interviewed my friend Abdullah.
Hi everyone, I am Abdullah from Saudi Arabia. I am exchange student in the United States. I am doing my master here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yeah, that's it. Wisconsin.
Wisconsin is like the total opposite environment from Saudi Arabia.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
You just told me a few minutes ago that you are finally wearing a t-shirt.
Right. While there, I wearing t-shirt in the entire year.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I actually met him about 3.5 years ago when he was a brand new exchange student in the US and he spoke zero English. He could say hi, I'm Abdullah. That's pretty much it.
That's so
but
cool.
Yeah, I mean, he's in grad school now. He's getting his master's in clinical psychology.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they both had some really super interesting insight into Ramadan.
Definitely.
So a lot of people don't know much about Ramadan, and I didn't really know that much about it either. I just knew from teaching Saudi students.
Yeah, I knew a bit from when we were a mentor family for the Egyptian students.
In high school.
Yeah, when I was in high school. It was always kind of right when they arrived, and so we were spending a lot of time with them during Ramadan, and so kind of seeing that, and they taught me a lot about it as well.
That's awesome. It's actually a really cool holiday, and I don't know about you, but one of my takeaways was from talking to Abdullah, This sounds really fun. Like, I would love to be in a Muslim country during Ramadan.
Definitely. And, well, I think being part of the community just sounds really, really cool.
Yeah.
Really special.
I was talking to a friend of mine from Pakistan earlier this week, and she mentioned that there's actually a linguistic debate over Ramadan.
Mm-hmm.
In Arabic countries, it's pronounced Ramadan, but in Pakistan, where the predominant language is Urdu, the word is Ramzan or Ramazan. It's kind of interesting.
That's interesting.
Well, let me first introduce Ramadan for you.
Yeah,
okay?
please. Yeah, tell me about Ramadan.
Yeah, Ramadan is a holy month in Islamic religion. 1 month every year. Muslim people after age 14 or 15, they start to fasting. We fast from sunrise until sunset.
And the last 10 days, we call it Laylatul Qadr, which is 1,000 nights, like something like this. And basically, it's a very special night where Muslims, a day within that 10 days, the last 10 days, that is better than 1,000 years. And people try to capture that. So they stay up all night during those 10 days just to capture that and like ask God for anything. Because like God will answer any questions or any of your concerns and everything on that special day. Anything you do is like 10 times like rewarded or something. So it's a very special time in Ramadan.
So one of the first things that we wanted to know was, what does Ramadan entail, and what is the purpose of the fasting? So could you tell us a little bit about why do you fast during Ramadan?
Okay, so Ramadan in general is just for fasting. People like do not eat for certain hours of the day. It depends, where you are. For example, here in Louisiana, we fast for like 15, 16 hours. Other parts of the world could be 22 hours, just, depending. And it's not just about depriving ourselves from food. It's also basically trying to empathize with people that don't have food and understand the struggle and be more appreciative of what we have and the blessings that we get.
The idea of behind fasting is actually how to be close from people who is hungry, poor people. And it's teach you like something behind this also. It tell you how weak we are.
It's also a time for like spirituality because people try to become closer to God during this month. It's called the Holy Month for this reason.
I figure out after a while. I am now. It's 27. It's like Islamic religion is based on like sacrificing their life for God. This is why, it's like fasting, praying 5 times a day. It's a lot of work, it seems, right?
Yeah.
And people try to be their best behavior or be their best selves. And it's also usually said that like the devil is chained during this time.
Okay.
Because normally the devil is roaming about and tempting you. But during the holy month, the devil is chained. So it's easier for you to become good because nothing is tempting you. So if anything that's bad, it's kind of all you, not the devil to blame. That's kind of usually the joke of that. Yeah, that's pretty much why I fast.
That's awesome. That was a really good explanation. I've never heard that about the devil, actually.
It's kind of similar to Catholic Lent. I pulled this from Wikipedia. The purpose of Lent is the preparation of the believer for Easter through prayer, doing penance, mortifying the flesh, repentance of sins, almsgiving, and self-denial. So, pretty much the same.
Yeah, there are a lot of similarities between the two.
Yeah. We also wanted to know, what is it like to be in Ramadan? So, what's the day-to-day experience? It's the 9th month of the Islamic calendar. So it's 28 days, right?
27, I think I read.
It's like a month-long holiday, basically. So we wanted to know, what's it like to be in that holiday? And this is when I got jealous.
Oh, it's fun. Really, it's fun. Because all the stores and people like waking at night time.
Yeah.
It's so even like even old people. You will see them like 2 a.m. Like you will see the old guy driving at 2 a.m.
That's so funny.
Yes, I know.
So everybody sleeps during the day.
Yeah, sleeping or like be more comfortable because you don't want to be thirsty.
Yeah, you don't want to use energy.
So usually I celebrate with family and friends. We'll wake up really early in the morning and we have to eat before 4:55 a.m. Yeah, it's really early, yes. And so basically fast from then on. Then during sunset around 8 p.m. we break our fast. We call it iftar. And then we eat, and like for me, Ramadan is like one of the most blessed months of the year. I just like the unity that's among Muslims. Everyone, like I mentioned, wants to be their best selves. Everyone's always giving. I don't usually feel like I have to buy groceries during the month because the mosque always have free food. Everyone's welcome regardless of what backgrounds you have, and even people's homes are usually open to like sharing and caring.
That's great.
Yes, it's fun. We like gathering with friends, family, relatives.
Yeah. Is this every night?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, every night. And there is like a special music for this month,
Oh, really?
Special TV show. Yeah. Usually it's comedy show. It comes in like this month. We're waiting for the show because it will come in this month.
Wow.
Yeah, this month is famous with like sweetie food. And there is like special light if you like looking for Ramadan. It's called, I think the light is called, I'm not sure what it's called. The old light, you know how it looks like.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
Turkish style.
Yeah, it's like a raindrop, like an upside down raindrop.
Yes. It's red and green and this color. Yeah, we like accessories or decorate our houses with this.
Oh, cool.
Too. Yeah.
You were in Spain for 2 Ramadans, right?
Yes.
Did you go to the mosque most nights?
Yeah, I didn't go a lot, but I went during like Fridays.
And was it like a similar experience to what you have at your mosque back home?
Not really, because I didn't know a lot of people there. Back home I know a lot of people, so it kind of felt more familiar. So it's just different. Maybe if I stayed for a longer time, it would have been.
But like the atmosphere was similar, or?
Oh yeah, the atmosphere is similar. Like the things that people do and all that. Yeah, is similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Abdullah mentioned that there's special Ramadan music, so he actually sent me some of that. So here's a little snippet for you guys. It's really pretty.
في حماك ربي غايتي رضاك والقلب في يقين يحيا على هداك ذو الجلال في علاه ما لنا سواه هو واهب الحياة فلنبتغي رضاه القادر الحليم الغافر الرحيم إن قال كن يكن سبحانه العظيم رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا.
So we wanted to know if there was something unique about celebrating Ramadan in different countries.
Mm-hmm.
Back home it's different than here. Even the day work is changed from like 7 regular hour. Banks or anywhere they change to until 10 to 2. This is back home, but here of course it's.
And the food was similar? Or?
No, so like it depends on the culture of people there. So like here they're more diverse people. In Spain they're more Moroccans. So like the food would be like maybe Moroccan food. The mosque that we have here, we have food from all over the world. So like maybe this day or this Friday will be Senegalese food, or this other Friday will be Indian food or Pakistani food or Palestinian food, stuff like this. So it was more diverse. So it was something to look forward to. Like, I'm going to try a cuisine from this other country.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool that you could try so many like kinds of food.
Yeah.
The amazing idea here, I found it here in US because it's mixed of culture.
Yeah.
I went to the mosque, okay, to see how they celebrate. They create a new culture here. That's fun.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Like it's mixed with all.
So, as both of our guests have spent a good amount of time out of their countries, we wanted to know what it's like celebrating in a foreign country.
I think fasting in Spain is harder because first of all, they do not have air conditioners. Like I don't know how to survive. Like, and it's really hot. Even though Louisiana is very hot, but like everywhere is blasted with AC, so you don't really feel it. And then I also drive going to work or anything. But in Spain, you have to take the public transport. You have to work, so it's more arduous. And more hours in Spain is 18 hours in Spain. And so like,
Be honest, the night before Ramadan start, because how we know Ramadan is start, we use actually the calendar, but it's in the real Islam perspective, we use the moon to figure out is Ramadan start or not.
Okay.
In the beginning of the moon, the skinny moon, the first moon, right?
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, this means, because the whole moon will be in the middle of Ramadan. Yeah, this is why if you figure out the sign of Ramadan, it's a moon, half moon, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is the idea behind it. So, yeah, I was like here at nighttime and I didn't really know because, we are like millennials generation. I just use my phone to figure out it's Ramadan or not. There is a bunch of applications. But I remember my mom and dad when I was with them, and then I just tried to crying, I miss them a lot because I remember this like hard time, when we stand with my dad, oh, it's Ramadan, he will figure out, and tell me.
Yeah.
It was like really hard time at night. I was alone here. I remember them. Yeah, it's just like this. This is what.
When you first came.
Yeah, it was like something sad. Yeah.
So, have you ever traveled and fasted?
yes, that was the most intense thing I've ever done. I went to Cuenca,
Which is a city about an hour or an hour and a half outside of Madrid.
So like we went to Cuenca and it was hot as usual in Spain, and it was kind of hard traveling with my friends because they would go and eat and everything and I can't eat, and they were just kind of like, oh, I'm so sorry. They kept on apologizing. It was kind of uncomfortable for them because they felt bad that they were eating it from me. I'm like, no, it's okay. I didn't really mind, but like I think the challenging part was just basically walking around under the hot Spanish sun.
Yeah.
There was a limited things I could do. I kind of went back home early because I was so exhausted. I'm like, I'm never doing that again. But my little sister did it, and she's crazy actually. She did it. Like, I'm just like, why? But she's very like determined, and she has a lot of stamina, and she's done basketball fasting. Don't know how.
Oh, wow.
But like she traveled around Malaysia and Southeast Asia. She's gonna do a video which I can't wait to put together about her experience fasting while traveling, because I wrote an article about it, like how hard it was.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
there's gonna be like an opposing, like, okay, yeah, someone actually did it, and like it's not that bad after all.
Cool. Actually, we'll put a link to your article. Yeah, she wrote an article about her experience traveling, and she gives a good overview of who's required to fast and what are some exceptions and how you can make up the days. She gives really good tips as well for how to keep fasting if you want to travel and make it a little bit more manageable.
Yeah, that's super interesting. So we're going to link to that in our show notes if you'd like to check it out.
Yes, you should.
Yeah, there is an exception on fasting. Did you thought about it? What about if I am sick? How do I need fasting? What is this sacrilege, right?
Yeah.
No, if you're sick, travel. There is like exception, as you said. You don't need to fast. And here, I am like not volunteering to fast, but I am traveling. If you think that like this way, right? Because I will go back home.
Right.
Right? This is why I don't pray a lot, because I am traveling. I am not from here.
Right. Right.
Yeah, this is the exception. There is exception. This exception, of course, I can use it. But these weeks, actually, this week and the week before, I have nothing to do, and then I said, no, let me fast.
what I got from listening to them and from the Egyptians' experience is that it must be a really difficult time to be away from your family, away from your friends and your community, because it's a very community-centric holiday as well.
Yeah.
So we asked what some of their challenges were in fasting.
Right.
And if they had any specific stories of a difficult time that they fasted during Ramadan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course, when we were young, we lying, okay? At this yeah. Okay, yeah. And then my mom, actually, yeah. They use this, but it's liar, you know? They lie to us. Yeah, they said, oh, we can figure out if you're fasting or not. How? By your hand. Your hand. And then we tried, like, to hide our hand then.
What did they say about your hand? Like there's a
something,
sign?
yeah, wait, it's really, Patrice, you will even, I'm not sure, like, all Saudis know this or not, but I am sure it's, like, something funny. They say,
Yeah, okay, so what he
This
was
is what my
saying
sister
was
did.
basically his
Okay,
sister
can you,
would
like,
look at
it's hard
his
to show
hand.
you my
So look
finger.
at the top
Okay.
of your
Have you
hand,
seen them,
and they would take the middle
Show me your
knuckle
finger.
on top
Yeah,
and pull the
I
skin
will do it.
together. And he said that if it stays standing up, then that means you're fasting.
No.
If it falls down,
The
then
knuckle
you're
here?
not fasting.
No, yeah, you brush
But
it like this.
he said, you know, I
Oh,
think
no.
this is not
No,
really a
no.
thing.
Can you see
This
me?
is just like what my parents
see
would
me?
tell me to make sure that I was fasting.
I don't know, it's nothing. They lie.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, well, this was like my sister's job, you know. Oh, he's not fasting. He's fasting. Because she is the oldest, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
She would always check you guys to make
Yeah,
sure.
like, Mom, he's fasting. Mom, no, he's not. Dad, look at this guy.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
I did Ramadan during school. We played tennis when I was in high school, as a junior in high school, and then we had to do tennis match. And like it was kind of hard because every match people always brought food, you know, to eat after the playoffs and stuff. And so it was like, oh my gosh, I'm missing all these bagels and Korean cheese, goodies. And then like, you know, you had to like be physical and run around the court. It was miraculous because I was like, okay, you know, in fasting we have some exceptions. If you're a traveler, you don't have to fast even if it's Ramadan time because you never know what circumstances you might come across. If you're doing sports, you don't have to fast. You just have to pay them back off. So during that time, I'm just going to fast and see how it goes. If I'm really thirsty or parched, like I'll just drink water. But like the whole time, like I miraculously did well. But it was hard being under the sun and running about and like food was everywhere. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. But I think I got used to it.
Were you at least like playing sometime close to sunset, or was it like you still had half the day left?
I think it would be like maybe 4 o'clock to like 6. So it was still up, but then it was going down. So I think being closer to the evening helped a lot more. Yeah, definitely. That would have been
If you played in the morning, and you had to
that would be
wait
bad.
the whole day.
Yeah, that would be that's like a dehydration and stuff. Yeah.
And it must have been like still really hot weather. I
Yeah,
assume,
it
at
was
that point.
hot, but it was like closer to the evening, so it wasn't super bad.
Okay.
Yeah, but right now I don't know if I can do that. That was a miracle.
I'm really impressed that she played tennis while she was totally dehydrated and undernourished.
Yeah, that's totally impressive.
Yeah.
Ramadan is, as we talked about, almost a month long. So we asked how they felt at the end of this month and how did they celebrate?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh that's the amazing day. I love it
Oh,
because
yeah?
we start eating from like you are like for whole month you don't eat during the day, you know. Can you like imagine for whole month you don't eating like during the day and then you eat for first time after the whole month. even like a biological change, you know.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
And yeah, it's really like fun. We cooked special food on this day, eat. We wearing, of course, nice clothes, visiting each other. My dad used, and my mom, they used to like treat me, but not anymore. Hopefully.
You're an adult
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, of course, this is why. And yeah, fireworks, music. Because yeah, I
Wow.
told you, yeah, we don't really, like play regular music during the Ramadan. Yeah, but after Ramadan, like it's regular music or what it's common to listen to during the year.
And at the end of Ramadan, how do you feel?
It's kind of weird. I actually feel sad, even though I don't eat that
Okay.
much, because I think not always meeting up with people. There's not a reason anymore to like come together to that often, and so it's just kind of, it's so different now. And it's funny because like when you eat, you feel like you're committing a crime because like, you're so used to not eating for such a long time. Yeah, it's kind of like a bit sad at first, and then later you can't get used to it again.
Okay. So you kind of get used to like the community and...
Yeah, and meeting new people and like, yeah, for example, like I told you last night, I was like with friends and we just ate, hanged out, played Super Mario and...
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So our final question was, what was their favorite part about celebrating Ramadan? And also, what's their favorite part about fasting? First thing, favorite part about fasting.
I think having self-control, and I feel like I'm more productive because whenever I'm working, I'm just like, oh, let me just munch these brownies, or let me just do this, and like you're just going back and forth, and you're not like you're distracting yourself and interrupting, like maybe you're working on something, but when you're just fasting, you just know, okay, I'm not gonna eat anything, so I'm just gonna be productive, and I feel like I'm more productive when I'm fasting, except for the fact that I have to sleep a lot.
Oh, right.
So that, and I think it also cleans your body system. Because you're not always intaking something, so it gives your body time to like recuperate, and so it has health benefits as well.
And what's your favorite part about Ramadan overall?
I think, like I mentioned, just the community coming together and being together with family and friends.
Very cool.
So I wasn't as in depth as Rachel was for this one. I just said, "What's your favorite part about Ramadan?" And Abdullah's answer was very simple. What's your favorite part about celebrating Ramadan?
Food. Of course,
Yeah?
food. Of course, like after 14 hours of hunger, of course, food will be your favorite things. Oh, my stomach.
Oh my god.
Yeah, food and water. It's still it's there, still stuck. Yeah, and drinking, of course, this is my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
There is a special dishes, of course, I missed it.
Yeah.
We eat it in Ramadan. As I told you, like more sweetie, you know.
Okay. Yeah, so food and water.
And is there anything else you'd like people to know or something like that?
When people ask me like, not even water, yes, not even water. Yeah,
Okay.
so like, no, we cannot drink water even while we're fasting. Yeah.
So I have many friends, they misunderstand this. They thought I drink too. They thought I drink.
Yeah,
No,
you don't
no
drink or
no,
eat.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
One of my friends like asked me, "Are you hungry?" I said, "Please don't ask me this question because I just keep saying, why dad you raised me like this way?"
People also try to give, like I mentioned, the month of giving. So not just giving to your community, also giving to people in need, because that's kind of why we're even doing this, like to empathize. And so like sometimes people would just like, package stuff and like give to the homeless, the needy, and deliver food to them. I remember when I was younger, my family friend, they will like make like a huge pot of rice and stew and chicken and whatever, and package them in like boxes or stuff and like distribute it to people. Oh yeah, this Islamic Relief USA, they're always giving to people in need.
Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate your insight into Ramadan.
Yes.
I feel like people just really don't know much about Islam, especially in the West. Islam gets a lot of negative coverage, but it's like all religions, it's grounded in really good intentions. And obviously, the vast majority of Muslims are really great people that you can relate to. And if you have a Muslim in your life that you are thinking about interacting with, I highly recommend it because I've always had positive experiences interacting with Muslims.
Yeah, true. And also the more that I've learned over the years about Islam, it seems to have a lot of really positive points.
Yeah.
I think as all religions do.
Right.
But yeah, especially as it is frequently given a very negative light in the media,
right.
especially.
Yeah, there's a lot of propaganda around what Islam is.
Yeah. So really the more that we can understand it and the more that people learn about it, I think is just great.
Yeah. I agree. So we have a few more facts about Ramadan. So there are 5 pillars of Islam, and the first one is fasting during Ramadan.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one is a pilgrimage to Mecca, which is something that Abdullah also mentioned. So going to pay homage, I guess, to the holy city. Number 3 is giving to the poor.
And Kareemah mentioned that as well, a lot of people try to do that during the month of Ramadan.
Mm-hmm. Especially during the last 10 days, right?
Right.
Because she said that everything you do in the last 10 days is kind of amplified.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, the fourth pillar of Islam is praying 5 times per day while facing Mecca. So that's why you'll see prayer rooms in some places. I know when I taught a lot of Saudi students in the US, including Abdullah, they would pray after lunch. Mm-hmm. And they would always use this one room facing in one particular direction. And number 5 is, just like in Christianity, the declaration of belief in one true God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's pretty clear from what Abdullah and Kareemah said, but the fasting during Ramadan is from sunrise to sunset, and yes, it includes water.
Yeah.
It also, though, includes things like sexual activity, impure thoughts, negative thoughts about other people as well.
Oh.
From what I understand. So it's also a time where you refrain from negative thoughts or actions and intentions.
Yeah, it sounds like a very loving month.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the purpose of Ramadan is, like they were saying, good for your spirituality, and it's also meant to be like a focus on humility, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just sounds like a very peaceful time of year.
Yeah, and it seems like a nice reset button, you know? Like...
Yeah, for your body too.
Yeah, for your body, for your spirit as well. Mm-hmm. Trying to engage in more community-based activity and remembering about those less fortunate, giving back, and yeah.
Also, Ramadan moves. If you've paid attention, because of the lunar calendar, it's moved by 11 or 12 days every year.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, it's often in the summer, and it obviously varies by what time sunrise and sunset is.
Yeah.
It's usually about 14 hours in the Middle East, but right now, since Abdullah's in Wisconsin, it sounds like it's closer to like 17 hours for him right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's rough.
Yeah.
And then if you're in the polar region, it's 22 hours.
Right. Yeah, and I think Kareemah mentioned that it was something like 20 hours in Spain when she was doing it. Not 20.
I think it was 18.
Not 20.
Maybe.
18. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, because Spain is a little higher in latitude than where she's from, Louisiana.
Yeah. And, I mean, today when I was coming home at 9:30, it was still light.
It's so great. I don't remember what that's like. It's like dark by like 7:30 here.
Okay. Yeah, so not everyone is required to fast. Women who are pregnant or nursing are not required to fast. Mm-hmm. And we talked about if you're traveling, you don't have to. As well as if you have some types of health problems, then, of course, yeah, you're not required to fast.
Right. In fact, if fasting isn't good for your health, then you are encouraged to discontinue.
Yes.
And then, oh yeah, so the name of the lantern that Abdullah mentions is called fanus. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
So maybe we should post a picture of that on the show notes.
Yes.
It's really pretty. The Islamic Relief USA.
Oh, yeah. And as Kareemah mentioned, one of the organizations that people can get involved with is the Islamic Relief USA, which is a humanitarian organization. You can give for a variety of causes: hunger, refugee aid, education, women's programs, water, sanitation.
Yeah.
You might want to check that out, whether you're celebrating Ramadan or not. I think it's a good thing. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I liked what Kareemah was saying, how, at the mosque during Ramadan, anybody is welcome to partake in the festivities. So just like with Islamic Relief USA, everybody's welcome to contribute and give. I mean, it sounds like they really tried to get to the root of what the religion is based on, which is doing positive things for people.
Mm-hmm. So now we are on to our final segment, which is...
Lost in Translation! This week, actually, our Lost in Translation moment comes from my friend Caroline, who I met when I was in 6th grade, and we were in a Spanish class together. And I have like a little story about that, just really quickly. We were in 6th or 7th grade. We had 3 years with the same Spanish teacher together. Señora Maqueda, she was amazing. There was one time she taught us that in Spanish, you spell laughter J-A-J-A-J-A-J-A-J-A, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the J is pronounced like a H. So ha 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 ha. But Caroline and I, we both thought for some reason that it's pronounced ja 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 ja. So for a week, we were walking around thinking that people who speak Spanish laugh like ja 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 ja. When I was writing her about the Lost in Translation moment, she was like, I still think that sometimes when I write it. And so do I. I don't know. It's
really
something
funny.
I've always remembered. Okay, so Caroline, let's listen to your Lost in Translation moment.
Hey Patrice, how's it going? So, I definitely have a lot of stories related to learning a second language. I did the Peace Corps in Ecuador for 3.5 years, and am now currently doing a second stint in Panama. So I've had a lot of experience in Latin American countries. And before I left for Ecuador, I had taken a bunch of Spanish classes in high school and college and everything, and felt fairly comfortable, although I quickly realized as I got to Ecuador that, of course, taking Spanish classes is nothing like actually speaking it with native speakers. And one of the things that they teach you about Spanish is that Spanish has a lot of similarities to English in some ways. There's just a lot of words that have the same root. So, for example, professional in Spanish is profesional. It's basically the same word, almost the exact same spelling as well. So there's a lot of those similarities, but what you can run into are what they call false cognates, which are words that you would think would be one meaning in Spanish based on the way that the word looks in English, but it actually turns out to have an entirely different meaning. And sometimes these instances can be pretty humorous. Like the classic one that they always teach you about in high school is that you cannot say, yo estoy embarazada, because that does not mean I am embarrassed. It means I am pregnant. But you would look at the word embarazada and just think naturally that that would be embarrassed because it looks almost exactly the same. So I get to Ecuador and I'm armed with my knowledge of false cognates, and I think I'm pretty good at word definitions. I think I got this. I'm not going to make a fool out of myself. No. No. Of course, there's so many moments. The one that definitely is engraved in my head as far as false cognates go is I was trying to explain to a friend of mine about there being preservatives in foods, and that preservatives aren't necessarily good for the human body. And so I tried to say there are many preservatives in the food, and I ended up translating it as hay muchos preservativos en la comida. And she kept looking at me like, And I said, yeah, hay muchos preservativos en la comida. And she basically said, Caroline, I don't think that preservativos means what you think it does. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, preservativos means condoms. The word that I was looking for was preservantes. That's what means preservatives. But you look at the word preservativos and you actually think, oh, that means preservatives. So yeah, that was a good moment. But the good thing about really embarrassing moments like that is that you never forget the word after that.
That's hilarious.
That's a really, really good one.
Yeah.
When she started talking about preservatives, I was like, oh no, I see where this is going.
Yeah. You gotta be careful with that food. It's full of condoms.
Oh, that's really, really good.
Yeah, thank you so much, Caroline.
Yeah, thank you so much. She's totally right, though, that once you make a mistake like that, you remember the word.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. I think, like, for me, that's why it's so important to learn with a native speaker, or to just take lessons in general, because, like, learning from a book is great, and learning from, like, online lessons is great, but you're not going to create the kinds of memories that you do when you talk to people, and you might not be corrected.
That's true.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, well, I think that's pretty much all we've got for you guys this week. If you have anything that you would like to add about Ramadan, if you'd like us to share it with our listeners, we'd love to hear from you. If you're a Muslim, do you agree or disagree with what we said? And are you from a different culture and you have, like, anything special that you do during Ramadan? Please let us know. You can comment on the show notes or wherever on social media. We'll find you.
We'd love to know.
Yeah.
And as always, follow us on social media, Facebook at Language Nerds Do Earth, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest. So yeah, if you want to hear from us more than once a week, go ahead and do that so we can stay connected.
Yeah. And if you could leave us a review on iTunes, that will really help people find us so that we can get the word out there about the show and have more people learn about the world.
Yeah. And make sure if you enjoyed it, tell your friends about it.
Yeah. I think our next episode is about food also.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be very fun.
Okay. And if you want to subscribe to our blog too, we also like to write about our experiences living and traveling abroad. So feel free to subscribe to our blog on our website.
Yep. And until next time, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in and have a great week, everybody.
All right. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.